Hey, it's the Stick and Hack Show. That's Mike. I'm Adam. And today we have Chad Mark, Director of Grounds for Muirfield Village Golf Club, on the show. Also, we do Stick or Hack 90's movies. Some surprising things happen in that segment. And some stories about the comebacks of golf. It's a segment we call Comeback City. Very clever. This is the Stick and Hack Show. Starts right now.
This is the Stick and Hack Show. Conversation, discussion, debate, and golf talk from a stick, Mike Ryan, and the hack, Adam Grubb. Boys, you are up.
Hey, everybody, welcome in. It's the Stick and Hack Show.
Good.
That was good, Shade. Nice one there, buddy. I'm Adam Grubb, the hack. That's Mike Ryan, the stick. And this is the Stick and Hack Show, the most sophisticated golf show in the free world, presented by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com and use the code Stick and Hack for 20% off their products and free shipping. Manscaped.com, proud sponsor of the Stick and Hack program. A huge show today. We have guest Chad Mark, Director of Grounds for Muirfield Village Golf Club in Ohio, is going to be on the show here with us momentarily, talking specifically about the setup of courses for both the PGA, LPGA tournaments, and being a member course and having two tournaments back-to-back this year, Mike,
right,
because of a very strange scheduling issue due to COVID.
That's right. I'm super excited about this one.
Yes, you sound like it.
I always do, don't I?
However, this one does hit your
This is in my wheelhouse. I feel like.
Right? 100%. Probably more yours than mine.
Yeah.
But Chad Mark, Director of Grounds, Muirfield Village Golf Club, is on the show and coming up here in just a little bit. First off, we want to talk a little bit about Stick and Hack, and just to remind everybody there out there listening, stickandhack.com. Sign up for free membership today. Become a member of the world's greatest golf club without the course. That's stickandhack.com. It is a collection of misfits. It's a collection of incredible golfers, collection of hacks, collection of people that are coming together to understand that golf is hard enough. Let's have fun with cartoons, podcasts, articles, giveaways, member perks program. The list of reasons for you to be a Stick and Hack member is endless, Mike. I'm member one, you're member two.
Correct.
And we have almost 2,100 members now worldwide of Stick and Hack. Go to stickandhack.com and become a free member today, if you would, please. It is literally free for life.
That's right.
All right, Comeback City. First up here, Mike.
Yep.
So there's people love the comeback. People love they love the fall from grace.
I feel like on
right?
some level they love the fall more than they love the comeback.
They might. They love the fall from grace, but then they love the comeback. And Tiger Woods' comeback is obviously well documented. We're not going to talk about that today. That is understood, incredible. But there's some comebacks in golf that you probably don't know. Some really incredible stories, and we're going to talk about them now. So the name of this piece is Comeback City.
I like it.
Thank you. Brendan Todd. He won the 2014 HP Byron Nelson Classic, and then he got the full-blown driver yips. Yep. My man couldn't hit it off the tee. From 2016 to 2018, he missed 37 of 41 cuts and contemplated quitting the game and buying a pizza franchise. Which, by the way, I have.
Do we know which?
I feel the same way daily.
Do we know which franchise?
No.
All right.
But he was going to quit the game. And his next move was buying a pizza franchise. Then after starting the 19 and 20 season with 4 missed cuts, he won the Bermuda Championship and the Mayakoba Golf Classic in back-to-back starts. And now, honest to God, he is rolling. He is up in the top 10, top 20, every single tournament. He is hitting the ball great. He has that confidence and that swagger. A guy who was going to quit the game a mere 2-3 years ago, now winning tournaments and up in the top 10, comeback city.
I will say one thing that what is not on point for Brendan Todd is his fashion game.
He took the Matt Kuchar.
It's not yes
fashion.
He wears the dad hat. He wears the.
Well, if it's a Stick and Hack dad hat,
except if it was a Stick and Dad hat.
Right. But, World Golf Hall of Fame member, 1997 PGA champion Davis Love III, headed into the 2015 Wyndham Championship, having not won since November of 2008. That's a 7-year string of not winning. In dealing with several injuries, he had fusion neck surgery in 2013, foot surgery in early 2005. Love, who had spent 450 weeks in the top 10 in the world rankings, had fallen to 525th. But at 51 years old, Love shot a final round 64 to win the Wyndham by 1.
pretty good.
Comeback City.
I've always been a huge fan of Davis Lowe.
I didn't know he had that many injuries and that many issues. I also didn't know it was a 7-year span of not
Yeah,
winning.
he had. I remember that when he had a streak there where he had a
sucked.
really bad. Well,
He was a hack.
I wouldn't say it sucked. It was.
Oh, okay.
It was health issues.
Okay. Just in case we have him on the show.
If you can't swing the club, then
Right. Okay.
what are you gonna do?
All right. Plagued by back and speaking of injuries,
Yep.
plagued by back and left thumb injuries in 2016, South Korea's NB Park, who completed the career Grand Slam the year prior, went to Rio for the Summer Olympics, having missed the cut or withdrawn in her last 4 events, including 2 majors. With an entire nation on her shoulders, she was even criticized by a lot of people for taking up a spot in the Olympics. Park won the gold medal with a final round 66 to finish at 16 under and 5 shots clear of the silver medalist and then the world number 1. So it went from, hey, why is she on the team?
Yeah.
Why is she representing the country? Why is she in the Olympics? The biggest, and this was when the Olympic or golf came back in the Olympics
Right.
for the first time.
Right. Rio.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she won. So
Yep.
she had, and that's the thing about golf. It is streaky. It is confidence. It is
Yep.
all of a sudden you can find yourself in a spot where you're not doing anything right or you're doing everything right.
That's right.
Oh, never mind. More on that in a second.
Okay.
Henrik Stenson reached number 8 in the world in 2000. By the way, Comeback City is the name of first up. These are comeback stories that you haven't heard or maybe have. Henrik Stenson reached number 8 in the world in 2009, a year in which he won the Players' Championship. Then Stenson lost millions of dollars after investing with Alan Stanford of Stanford Financial in what turned out to be a $7 billion Ponzi scheme and led to Stanford's conviction in 2012 and a sentence of more than 100 years.
That one I didn't know about.
Right?
That.
That's going to mess with your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Stenson
On many
fell
levels.
to 230th in the world before winning the SA Open in 2012. He won 3 times in 13, including the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup. He became number 2 in the world in 2014, and in 16 he won his lone major at the British Open. So Stenson lost millions of dollars, and it turned his world upside down. Comeback City. In December 2017, Jessica Korda had surgery to fix chronic painful headaches, a procedure that required her jaw and nose to be broken and more than 25 screws inserted to reset her bones. In her first start of the 2018 season at the Honda LPGA Thailand, she was still eating out of a straw and didn't recognize herself in the mirror. By the way, she won that week, firing rounds of 66, 62, 68, and 67 to set the tournament record at 25 under to win by 4 shots.
That's
Holy cow.
beyond impressive.
Beyond impressive. Jessica Korda, my God, Comeback City.
Yeah.
Those are good stories, Mike.
I like those.
Let's tell you, I got one more bonus comeback story.
Okay.
Okay, a bonus one. I don't need notes for this one.
Okay.
So I won a tournament this past weekend.
You did.
I did. Did you not hear
I
about
had-
this?
Had no
No
idea.
kidding.
You didn't even tell me.
I didn't tell you about it?
No.
My God. The trophy happens.
that what this thing
yeah,
is?
Yeah.
Oh.
The trophy happens to be sitting
All
right
right.
there. I won the flight in the club championship.
Yes.
And that's a comeback because nobody thought that I could do that. I had nothing happen to me.
Especially after an 8 on the first day.
I had an 8 on day 1 and I thought the tournament was over and,
Yep.
and I stayed with it and I came back. That's the comeback.
Yeah.
I had an 8 on hole 13 and I thought that was the end of it. But I won, much to the confusion, dismay, and chagrin of every member at the club. They said, "What?
You're hurting the brand.
Yeah,
hurting
they
the
kept
brand,
saying,
Adam. You're not helping.
Yeah, they kept saying you need to
And we're like-
change the name.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the usual retort so far has been, can you still be a hack if you win a tournament?
Right. Yeah. And
Well, it's flighted, guys.
I had an 8.
Yeah. Well, it's flighted, guys. It's
Right.
not.
It's flighted, number 1, and I hit an 8, and I hit it twice out of grass that was 18 feet tall because that was a decision I made as opposed to just taking it out and taking it unplayable. I said, I'll just hit it
Well.
again, and it went 5 feet the second time, lost it the second time.
That's why you got to know the
So,
rules.
yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Let's bring in our conversation. By the way, I'm club champion.
Yes.
Let's
Correct.
bring in Mr. Chad Mark, Director of Grounds at Muirfield Village Golf Club. Chad, welcome in to the Stick and Hack Show.
Well, thanks for having me, and congrats on the win this weekend.
Oh, what's that again, Chad? Congratulations for the what?
Congrats. Are they going to rename the flight now? Is that going to be the hack flight from now on? Or?
It should be, Chad.
It's good. They will never have that flight again. We'll shut down the tournament altogether. All right, so you are director of grounds at Muirfield Village Golf Club. Muirfield Village opened in 1974 and designed by Columbus native Jack Nicklaus. Muirfield Village has hosted the PGA Tour's Memorial Tournament every year since 1976. And you guys have also hosted Ryder Cup, President's Cup, Solheim Cup, and the U.S. Amateur. And now, Chad, you are in charge. My God. How does that feel, and why?
Well, I mean, it's an honor. Obviously, I grew up close to Columbus. I went to Ohio State. This is a dream job for me because of being a Buckeye. It's probably the job that I would want the most in the country. So I'm obviously very honored to be here.
So tell us in just simple terms, what does your job title mean? What is your job? What is your position? And in most cases, a grounds crew and a superintendent and those that are in charge of a course can be sticks or hacks themselves. So which are you, sir?
Well, professionally, I'm a stick. But, golf-wise, we might have a debate on that. I'm probably a hack in golf. But I guess to put it, in the easiest description I can, I mean, my job is basically the superintendent position. I'm director of grounds. I have a superintendent that works beneath me, and then we have 40 guys that take care of the golf course and grounds here at Muirfield Village. I keep telling people that my job description should be that I am the expert nitpicker because I walk the golf course every day, and my assistant James just gets picture after picture of things we need to do better, and we just are looking to make sure we do what Jack would want and, keep it as perfect as it can be on a daily basis.
Awesome.
Now you said what Jack would want. You're talking about your boss, Jack Nicklaus, which I'm sure is very difficult to say out loud. And if it were me, I would say it at every chance I had that I have to, I'm sorry, I can't have lunch with you. I have to go deal with a problem that my boss wants. Oh, who's your boss? Jack Nicklaus. And then you just leave the room. Is that kind of how it works?
It's an honor, and it's a lot of fun working with him, especially this year with the renovation. He's great. I think that the great part about Mr. Nicklaus is that he tells us what he wants, and he lets us do our job and get there. We know the expectations, and he doesn't really get into the weeds too much about that. He lets us do our job, and we just know the expectation. I tell our guys that we need to be Jack ready every day. Come up from Florida whenever. And we don't want him to show up, and you can't fake it. Either you're doing it right or you're not. So we're Jack ready every day. That's our goal.
That's awesome. Chad, a lot of people may not know you came from another iconic course, honestly, in my opinion, in Inverness. Was that a tough decision for you to leave Inverness and go to Muirfield? I'm sure it was, but just curious to hear your thoughts.
It was extremely tough, especially given that I was only there a year. And, I'd spent 14 years as the head superintendent at Kirtland Country Club in Cleveland, which is an old classic CHL, great golf course, great membership. And I made the tough decision to move my family to, Toledo. And I really wanted to be at Inverness for a long time, wanted to see the kids in school. We had a lot of great things started at Inverness in that year that I was there. We really tried to go in there and change the concepts of what we were doing. We hired an architect to go back to the Donald Ross design, and we were working on that. And I got a phone call and said, "Hey, I know you just moved, but I really think that you should make the move down to Columbus." And my initial thought was that I can't do that. I can't, even though Muirfield Village is my dream job, and there's no doubt about it that it is.
Right.
The timing of it really tore me up because I just got there. We built some relationships in that first year, hired an architect, going to do a master plan, and, to turn my back on that was tough. But, you kind of related to, Coach Meyer being at Bowling Green, Utah, and then, building those programs and recruiting all those kids and really believing that you're going to be there a long time, but then you get a call from Florida, you get a call from Ohio State, As great as Inverness is, the chance to host the PGA Tour event on an annual basis, and to work with the greatest golfer of all time, it was too much of an allure for me.
Right.
And it's funny because I was so worried about calling all those Inverness members that I was close with and saying, "Hey, I'm leaving. And it was hard to do. And every one of them said, I would have kicked your butt if I found out you didn't do it. That's
When you
they were great.
When you laid it out like that you get to work at a course that hosts a PGA Tour event every single year, and that you work with Jack, and you are at this iconic course. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And your loyalty and your understanding of your job at that point is admirable. But at some point, you just got to go, okay, this has got to be the move that I make. Now, you guys have had a very eventful year, and for those that don't know, you guys hosted 2 PGA Tour events back-to-back weeks that were very different in nature. They were very different in the caliber of the top players that were there, and it was very different in the fact that you had weather and you had 2 course setups back-to-back weekends because of, I guess, the need for, well, maybe I'll just ask you, geez, you're the one in charge of it. Why did you have 2 course setups back-to-back weeks?
Well, when the tour asked Jack and asked us if we could pull off 2 weeks in a row. Obviously, I wasn't thrilled about the first mid-July tournament. It's the Midwest, the toughest 2 weeks of the year, probably the 2 weeks we had a tournament. But you know what? The circumstances that they came to us with the thought that it would be great to keep the players in one spot once the John Deere Classic canceled. And they thought that with our facilities, our driving range, the golf course that we have, that we could pull it off. Being that I'm a stick, we immediately embraced the challenge and said, yeah, we'll pull this off. And you know what? We had the concept of saying we're going to do 2 different setups, 2 different green speeds, use different hole locations. They're going to let it go the second week, and we can get firm and fast and kind of give them a championship caliber golf course. But if the weather doesn't cooperate, that's a great theory, but it doesn't happen. Fortunately for us, the weather did cooperate. We got a couple of timely rains during the first event. Our green speed target for the first week was to try to be somewhere between 11.5 and 12.5, and we did that. We started the week at about 11.7, and we just trended upward that whole week. And then we were going to get the green speed up a little bit the following week and really try to firm it up more than anything, because firmness and wind gets these guys more than anything. When they can't control the spin, that's when you can get a little bit of high scoring and you can get them challenged. So we can't control the wind, but we can control the firmness. So we tried to do that the second week. Right. I would tell you that there's a lot that goes into that, though, because we have our targets from advanced weeks in years past to get to the mid-13s to 14 area. And so when they first came to me and said, hey, we need to be at like 11 and a half the first week, it's just not possible to get where we wanted to be week 2. So we worked with the tour to do that. It worked out great. We had 2 great champions, 2 great weeks. Our staff really embraced it, and it was fun.
So that answers or brings me to my next question, which is who makes those decisions to speed up the greens, to lengthen the rough, to make the course what it is for each week, not just for your members, but in a tournament format? Who is making those decisions, and how much information is the PGA Tour or the LPGA Tour in some cases giving you for their course setup?
It's a great question. For the most part, the PGA Tour makes those decisions on a weekly basis, and those guys are professionals. I've worked a lot of U.S. Opens and U.S. Women's Opens, and watched the USGA come in, and I've worked with the PGA Tour now for several events, and I will say that they just are so good at their job. They can do a great setup on a week-to-week basis. The one thing that we have at Muirfield Village in the Memorial Tournament is that we have the Jack Factor, what we call it. I mean, he has a certain level of expectation. So when you look at our event on an annual basis versus a lot of other events, our rough's a little bit longer, our greens are a little bit faster, and we have a little bit, tougher test for the guys. And it's a good way for those guys to prepare for the U.S. Open on a regular basis, because it's usually 2 weeks later. That was something that we had in mind when we did these 2 setups as well, though, because as much as we can say, okay, hey, the workday event's going to be just a regular tour event, you still have the Jack Factor, and you have the PGA Tour rules officials saying, hey, we want to move it up on 14 a couple of days. How will he take that? And what if we move this whole location here? What if we go up a tee on number 8? Well, how will he take that? So the tour does make those decisions, but they work very, very closely with my staff, and they know that if I have to, I'll say, well, Jack's not going to like that. I guess I'll have to get him involved, and then we usually win our battle there and get our way. So
Right.
we do work hand in hand on the rough, though. The rough is a tough thing because they don't want to get anything out of hand. And I know with the history here that we can cut at a certain point and let it go, and they have to be comfortable and trust me. And there's a lot of trust that goes back and forth in that relationship to make sure that we don't get a tournament that gets out of hand.
Yeah.
Mike, I know you got a question, but I want to make sure that I get this idea out here. Is there anything that you want us to do from a Stick and Hack t-shirt perspective with Jack Reddy and the Jack Factor? Because if
I've noticed on your podcast you have a lot of t-shirt money ideas.
I do. None that we're actually
none that are actually executed on, but it's fine.
We barely have gotten shirts with Stick and Hack on them, let alone. But I think it just. Think about it. Come back to us. But if your crew, if your 40 crew members had Jack Reddy on there, I mean, come on, that's going to get him in a sense like, okay, we got to get things together here. Obviously, sponsored by Stick and Hack on the back. Just an idea. Think about it.
Well, this year they're wearing bracelets that say "Embrace the Grind." And we did that back in January before we knew this was going to turn into the year that has. So it's been very good full motto for this year.
Yeah, indeed.
Nice. Chad, I don't think a lot of people probably realize this, but the difference between running a golf course every day for, say, your membership versus the tour and a professional tournament, how different is that for you? Just trying to make sure that you're catering to, on the everyday golfer and those guys that are members and are on that course every day versus when you got tour players coming in.
I get that question a lot, and quite frankly, I've always, throughout my career, said, hey, we're going to do championship conditions on a daily basis. And to some point, that's true. I mean, we have quick greens, our fairways are tight.
Yep.
And we know at Muirfield Village that some people have been waiting a year, 2 years to come play here as a guest. And it's, kind of like going to Disney World. So we have the pressure of knowing that we got to be good every day because you never know how long somebody that's on that guest list has waited to come play here. But we pick up the frequencies of which we do things when you get into a tournament. So when we normally double cut in the morning in July, maybe roll every second day and have greens that are around 12 every day, that's different than cutting twice in the morning and rolling twice in the morning and cutting again twice at night and rolling again twice at night and being 14 and having some of the slopier green, spots on the green be our hole locations. The other thing is the normal player cannot play out of the rough that we produce for the tournament. We top it at 4 inches. By the end of the week, it's like 6.5, maybe more. And it's amazing what these guys do out of it. But we always have an outing the day after the tournament. And we leave the place the way it was the day before, but we don't even cut anything. We leave the greens, and they're probably 12.5, and the rough's what it is. They can't find balls. They can't get out of it. They just finally just throw it in a fairway. And so, what the tour guys do is amazing, and what they can handle is amazing. We would have an average round of 5.5 hours if we had those kind of conditions on a daily basis.
Right.
But I will say that we do take it serious and try to make the presentation similar, and it's just picking up the frequencies. I mean, we're doing a lot more night work for tournaments, coming in and filling divots every night and mowing every night and doing our watering at night with hoses instead of running heads. And everything's just a lot more attention to detail, fine tuning during usually the advanced week and tournament week. This year it was the 3 weeks, but it's an intense operation. It costs a lot of hours and a lot of tired guys and sleepless nights. So luckily we don't have to do 2 every year.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys are the unsung heroes, and I don't say that lightly. Your crew and your team, because you guys are on showcase on a national spotlight, and your tournament specifically is one of those that everyone looks forward to. It almost is a fifth major in some cases, and we've heard people say that, right? Yeah. The top guys go there. You're on showcase. You're being talked about by Nance. You're being talked about by pros even, and we have heard in years past some of these pros really pipe up about the course conditions of certain courses that they are playing that are either too tough, too easy, too annoying, too gimmicky, whatever the case may be. We don't hear that about Memorial or about the Memorial tournament. We don't hear that about Muirfield specifically. Do you take a sense of pride in that and understand that, if no one's talking about you, then that's a good thing?
Yeah. I think most of the time that you get talked about, it's in the negative. Something happened where the greens aren't good, or there's a lot of pressure on superintendents to perform, and there's tough weather conditions, and we're not in control of that. So there's certainly things that could go the wrong way. Luckily for us, we've done a good job of managing that stress as we went into the tournaments this year, and we do most years. But this year, especially with what we did the second week, where we were going to let things go a little bit, we were going to try to firm the place up. We were going to, let things wilt to some degree. I asked, I guess there's a little quick story. On Monday after the workday, so Monday of tournament week for the Memorial Tournament this year, we were looking at some of the renovation work with Mr. Nicklaus. And someone in the group said, how fast and firm are you going to make it this week? And I said, well, it depends on how tolerant of brown he is, and pointed at Jack. And he says, well, I'm colorblind. I go, well, perfect. And we're going to let it go. And it's going to get firm and it's going to be fast. And so, but there's a fine line, because you've seen the criticisms at Shinnecock and the other places where the USGA got a little too far. And you saw it where they went too far one day, and then they went too far the other way and got it wet, and scoring completely changed. The players don't want to go back and forth. Yep. So what our intention was is to continue on that rise, like over the 2 weeks, really, and definitely during the Memorial, where yes, it was firm and fast on Thursday, maybe it was a touch firmer and faster on Friday, a touch firmer on Saturday, and then we did get, the slugger called, Steve Rentoul called, our agronomist Thomas Bass was called, all within 20 minutes. So I knew that they'd all been talking, and they all had the same question: is it going to get out of hand tomorrow? Because the winds are now at 25 to 30 mile per hour gusts. Because when you start get that firm and fast, they did not want us out there syringing in between groups. They didn't want anything to get away from us. So, we talked through it and said, hey, look, we'll put some water on the greens tonight, but the greens have to be every bit as firm as they are Saturday. We won't pick up a little bit more and get a little firmer, because you don't want these players to come out there and expect something, playing for millions of dollars, and then it changes drastically. So that's where you got to have that trust and, make sure that everybody's on the same page. But, we were on the edge a little bit that second week. And I think one of the nicest articles I saw, someone sent me an article from Golf Digest afterwards talking about just what you said, Adam, that we took it to the line, but we didn't cross it. And it was a good setup that the players said, hey, that's a great test. That's the toughest I've seen on tour for a while, but it wasn't over the top. And there's always going to be a few guys that complain. That's the way it is with every club. I mean, you alluded to it earlier that some guys say the greens are slow, some guys say the greens are fast, some say that that's right. You can't please everybody, but I think for the most part, the players, the rules officials, and the tour was happy with how we were able to give them two drastically different golf courses. And the second week, we didn't go over the line. It was good.
Could you imagine if one of the members is like, complaining about the course, and his retort is, well, the PGA had no problem with it. Yeah. The top 25
that would
golfers
be my only response
in the world had no issues with it. So why don't you sit over there, Blake, and leave us alone? Why don't you go to a muni course?
Chad, you talked about you guys, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but you guys are going through a renovation. What are your thoughts on kind of the never-ending arms race in golf to add length to golf courses that we've been seeing? I assume that puts a lot of pressure on you guys when you think about it about a redesign. What are your thoughts there?
It's something that we talk about a lot. As you guys know, my boss had some thoughts about the golf ball that he shared on the telecast, and it's getting to the point where it's not cost effective. We don't have enough land. We're landlocked on most golf holes now. We didn't have any spots to move tees back on a few holes that Jack would have liked to add length during this renovation. So we moved the green instead. But it's tough. I mean, because now you got guys that are, the mark used to be that we looked at like a 318 to 323 mark, as a landing area for the biggest hitters. And now you got Bryson, I think, was 38 yards out on one. It was a 370-yard drive. I was just in a conversation.
I think the stat you're looking for, Bryson, longest drive is 687 yards.
Yeah. Is that the one off the cart path?
Yeah. No, ironically it wasn't.
It's funny because I think as you get into this renovation especially, and you talk about, okay, what can we do to make this golf course a great test on a yearly basis? when we are landlocked, I mean, for the most part with length. I got asked the question over and over again. I got asked the question on Friday afternoon before he blew up, what about Bryson's, drives and how far he's hitting it on 14 and how far he's hitting it on, 13 and 1. And I see he's 1 or 2 over. He's going to miss the cut. And the reality of it is you still have to be able to navigate these greens. And I think Jack's looking at that as we do this renovation is, okay, how can we make sure that the second shot values here are what they need to be to make a true test. And, we talked a lot about what do we do on number 5 because, they don't have to hit driver there. They can hit a hybrid or a 3-wood and they can hit another hybrid and they can be on the green. And the landing area is a landing area. And he thought about moving creeks and everything else. And finally, he watched everyone play the golf tournament and he said, that's the landing area. And I don't know why I'm trying to make him hit driver to get to that landing area. The second shot's got to be the key. And so, he shifted the green and made it narrow and bunkered it heavily and put water a little bit more in play by shifting the green over a little bit. And now they're really got to think about, hey, is it really worth it for me to hit, a hybrid or a 3-wood into that?
Yep.
And so, I think it'd be great if the ball changed, but there's just no way. I think that can happen anytime soon with the lawsuits you'd have with manufacturers. I think that the value needs to be on those second shots because these guys are going to bomb it. And you can put trouble at the driving zones, but you're going to keep moving hazards. I mean, if you put bunkers at 325 today, I mean, what do you got to do? 10 years from now, you're going to move them 30 yards down. And then that doesn't really carry over well for our member play either, So,
Absolutely.
Trying to make sure you have a wide landing area for your members, a narrow landing area for your PGA Tour pros is something that we're looking at as we do this renovation. But it's a problem. Obviously, these guys are really good at what they do, and they're bombing it. And if guys that are hitting it 355, 370 every week start winning every tournament, then I think we'll have to revisit it. But if we can make the second shots in the green complexes, interesting and hard, and I think that we'll still be able to, save ourselves a little bit without delay.
Yeah, I love that approach because I myself have thought that same thing that, it's not necessarily the length that's the thing that we need to focus on. It's the other parts of the game that you need to be better at and make it harder for guys that I think makes A, the game more fun and interesting, and B, you're not stuck with this. I'm trying to shove a tee 30 yards back every 5 years. So,
well, and I think, go ahead, Chad, sorry.
Well, I walk the golf course every morning and I flip nines. And so at practice round, Charles Howell was walking the front nine when I had flipped over to the front nine. And he had some really neat ideas and a couple of them I shared with Jack. But, he said, how everybody's hitting the ball over 12 tees and over the trees on 12 and landing it down the slope on 13. He goes, all you got to do is move the tee up. He goes, because they wouldn't be able to get the ball up over 3.
Right.
So there are other solutions to this,
absolutely.
That you have to look at and you have to think about
Yep.
and make guys, you can't make guys play the golf course as it's designed every single time. I mean, because everyone's going to look for an advantage. It's like that old adage in NASCAR, where if you're not cheating, you're not trying, or something like that.
Right,
so,
right.
There's guys that are going to look for a different angle. Who knows if that angle works? Some of the things some of the guys tried this year didn't work. They didn't really score well trying to overpower the golf course. So I think the second shot values are what Muirfield's known for, which is going to make us a test every year.
I think what's interesting is that with the hacks, there's no real thought process other than I need to get my driver out, and then I need to hit it near the green and hopefully chip on and 2-putt for a bogey. That's typically the thought process for a hack. So to hear this thought of these second shots and how the setup is and where you want these guys to land it, that's the part of the design of courses that is just over my head, which might be surprising to many of you. But it's fascinating because there is so much thought and ingenuity and a true science, both of a mental science and a physical science of design of a golf course that I don't think gets enough love and enough attention with some of these architects. It's not just the beauty, it's the thinking behind where things go inside a course and how it can play for a PGA, because your course is a perfect example, a PGA Tour pro and a 15 handicap who's a member there because they live near you, right?
or they have a national membership. Either way.
Ooh,
so about half and half here.
Wow.
Half and half.
Excuse me.
We got about
Chad.
half our members are local and half are national.
Excuse me.
So you guys fall into national. You guys will be good.
Yes.
Well, we'll look into that. We got to sell
Could you talk to Jack for me on that one?
Yeah, we need to sell some of those Jack T-shirts first, and then we'll be in that. We'll be in a
got
spot.
a lot of great T-shirt ideas. So
there we go.
Hey, we're more than T-shirts, Chad. Here at the Stick and Hack Show.
Yeah.
Not much
more.
No. Chad Mark, Director of Grounds at Muirfield Village Golf Club. Chad, a pleasure and a thrill to talk to you. Just an incredible job there. You do have a dream job for many and for yourself. Congratulations on all your success. Congratulations on 2 incredible tournaments back-to-back, pretty much unknown and unheard of in PGA world. You guys did an incredible job. So congratulations and thank you for being a Stick and Hack member, and thank you for being on the Stick and Hack Show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I had a blast.
Great. Thanks, Chad. There he goes. Chad Mark, Director of Grounds at Muirfield Village Golf Club. Mike, that conversation, awesome. I knew that's a conversation for you. I mean, I enjoyed it. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. But that had you written all over it. And when I guess I didn't realize how much the greens are really, it seemed like, the focus of setting up a course. Because he said he doesn't really touch the rough and some of these other things. Yeah. That the green is really the secret sauce when it comes to and the areas around the green. And that makes sense because I can drive the ball 250, right? But I still have to and be 150 out or 100 out.
Right.
There's still a lot of work that's left to be done in that last 100 yards. Yep. And that's where you do separate. And the other interesting thing he said was how good they are out of that rough, because that rough sounded terrible.
Right. Well, and to me, the thing that I don't think people realize is when you have well-kept greens and they're healthy, how much you have to do to them to keep them fast. Yeah. Because you have to. It's a fight because the greens, when they're healthy, they just grow like crazy. So they're constantly having to roll and cut and roll and cut and roll and cut, but then at the same time keep the moisture in them so they don't die.
Right. Everybody knows that, Mike.
I mean,
it's a very simple thing. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm going to be honest with you. I literally stopped listening 30 seconds ago.
I don't even know why I travel you.
All right, let's go into the.
I try to broaden your horizons. I try to educate.
Mike, I'm club champion. Okay, flight winner, club championship. I don't need to be broadened any further than where I am. Fine. Let's play sticker hack. You want to do that?
Sure.
Sticker hack. 90s movies. So this is sticker hack. Yep. 90s movies.
We did this a couple weeks ago.
Well, we did the alt rock bands. 90s alt rock bands. Yeah. So a couple shows ago we did stick or hack. 90s alt rock and A through C, by the way.
I mean, we're showing our age.
That's fine.
By our
they can see us
here. Well, yeah. Duh.
This was for me, music and movies, the 90s were it.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything better.
And
that could be an entire show. The name of the show, we'll do a t-shirt called 90s Nothing Better.
It's another one. Just throw that in the bin.
Right where it belongs.
Throw that in the bin.
All right, sticker hack 90s movies.
Yep.
Titanic.
I'm going to go stick.
Yeah, I'll go stick. I didn't see that movie for the first 10 years it was out because I was put in a stand. I'm going to say I'm not going to watch Titanic because it was the #1 movie. Yeah. It was massive. Yeah. So I'm not going to watch it. I was that guy.
I know.
Yeah.
You are.
But I did watch it. I loved it. It's fantastic.
Was it delightful?
Shame on me. Batman and Robin.
Hack.
I don't know
that one.
It's pretty bad.
I mean,
Joel Schumacher did not do any justice.
Chris O'Donnell
and what's his name?
Was it Clooney? Then?
Yeah, George Clooney.
That's bad casting. The worst.
That's bad casting.
The worst Batman.
All right, hack. Agreed. You've Got Mail.
I'm gonna go with. Stick.
Hack. I disagree 100%. It's a remake of the movie you already did, Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah.
Some 5 years before. It's dumb. You've Got Mail.
I don't know.
Meg Ryan. I'm not a big Meg Ryan fan.
Yeah.
Either. in anything. I didn't even like her in When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
Which also is a whole other thing.
Right. I can't ignore this right now. Are you hearing this music out here? Are you hearing playing music?
Is he
there's like a bluegrass concert going outside our window.
Is Shane playing acoustic music to a school classroom? What in the hell?
Somebody requested Skinner or something. I don't know.
All right, next. Speed. Sticker hack 90s movies. Speed.
Hack.
Speed? No way.
Yeah, hack.
Absolutely not.
No.
Stick. 100%.
That movie annoyed
Sandra
me.
Bullock. That was her one
She
of
was good.
Oh.
I didn't like Keanu in that one.
Oh, who does? Nobody likes Keanu. Keanu isn't it.
He had some movies that were endearing.
Name one. Thank you.
The Surfer movie. What was that Surfer movie?
Surfer movie.
Where he was the surfer and the undercover FBI agent.
Oh, what was it, Shane? Point Break.
Point Break.
Nice
yes.
work.
There it is.
Yeah, that's a stick movie, but
With Patrick
Keanu Reeves.
Swayze. I mean that movie.
All right, we're
was
getting
fantastic.
off topic here. Con Air. Sticker hack. 90s movies.
Hack.
Stick. You're out of your mind. John Malkovich. Come on. Now, what's his name's?
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. His accent is an abomination.
Well,
and
yeah,
in most cases, Con Air
we
should be.
We should do one of these with just Nicolas Cage. Movies.
Oh, I agree, and that'll be the longest streak of hacks you've ever heard in your life.
He's had a
Name one. Exactly.
The Rock.
Welcome to the Rock.
Yeah.
No, that movie was held up by
That's Sean Connery, for God's sakes.
Notting Hill. Sticker hack 90s movies.
All right, I am going to say this, and I'm going to get destroyed for it, but I'm going to say that is a stick movie.
I agree.
Thank you.
100%.
Yeah.
Notting Hill is a stick movie.
That is a guilty
Mine
pleasure
too.
movie for me. Yeah.
Mine too. That and Love Actually. Maybe I'm just a Hugh Grant fan.
Yeah, my wife makes fun of me.
No. Oh, come on. Notting Hill
She
is a great
likes
movie.
the movie, but she just makes fun of me because I'm a dude and I like Notting Hill.
She needs to get to 2020. The Matrix.
Stick.
I've never seen it.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
I knew you were going to do that. I've never seen it. I swear to God, I've never seen that movie.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to call it a hack. You know why? Because Keanu Reeves is in it.
Now, what I will say is the first time I saw that movie, I had no idea what the hell was going on.
No.
I had to watch it like 3 times before I understood it.
Groundhog Day.
Stick.
Stick. 100%.
Yeah.
Crimson Tide.
Stick.
Stick. Shawshank Redemption.
Goat. Stick.
Never seen it.
Shut up.
I promise you. I've never seen it. I know. I do understand the issue. Look at you. I understand the issue. I have never seen it.
I'm like almost. I'm borderline tears.
I've never seen it.
How have you never?
I watch movies all the time, and I've never seen that movie.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Well, we're watching Shawshank Redemption this weekend then.
And then Notting Hill. We'll have a nice weekend.
I like it. Sounds fun.
Blair Witch Project.
Hack.
Stick. That movie.
Terrible.
No, it's not terrible. That movie, from a
Such a
production
gimmick.
perspective, from a marketing perspective, everything about it
was a gimmick.
is stick, in my opinion. No doubt. It was back in that was the scariest movie that I saw back in the 90s.
Meh.
Clueless.
Hack.
I want to disagree with you just for show's sake, but Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, I can't. No.
Did she die? Alicia Silverstone?
No.
I think she did.
Her career died.
That's the same joke we used last time. We'll just do that every single time.
We just recycle jokes. It's not like we have any actual creative talent.
That's Stick right there. Mike Ryan on the Hack. Adam Grubb. Thanks so much for listening. The greatest golf club in the free world. Without the course, it's Stick and Hack. Go to stickandhack.com. Sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Get 20% off your products and free shipping. Use the code Stick and Hack. My thanks to Chad Mark, Director of Grounds at Muirfield, for being on the show. We'll see you soon. Mike, I'm proud of you. Congratulations.
Proud of you, man.
Champion. Club champion. Flighted.
That's right.
No doubt.
Well,
but nonetheless. You guys have a great week. Thanks so much for listening.
Peace out, guys.
The Stick and Hack Show is now over. Subscribe, rate, comment, and tell your friends. You are now free to go about your day.